as we talked about on Wednesday, Thursday was the big day for all of the WWE main roster cuts back in September as the 90-day no competes were up. And the man who won the day was Mustafa Ali, who I would imagine from the time he was cut probably was getting his ducks in a row for a big splash on that 91st day. And he had a video that dropped at 12:21, and I think he has booked himself with just about every independent company he can possibly find, whether it's Game Changer Wrestling, C4, North Shore Pro Wrestling. He's doing multiple Greater Toronto area independent dates with Demand Lucha, where he's going to take on Gringo Loco and Jack Cartwheel. He's doing Destiny Wrestling. Our friends at C4 in Ottawa, he's going to be like, this guy's going to be everywhere. And I imagine this is only a sample of what his calendar is going to look like, as it's going to fill up pretty significantly. So he's hitting the ground running. And I think it would also tell you, Way, this guy is not diving onto another national promotion to sign a contract. It seems like he really wants to hit the indies and see what's out there and how much of a business he can make for himself without a national promotion as his exclusive home.
Well, let's remember, this is a man who at one time seemed to be campaigning, and maybe no pun intended, given sort of the motif he's used for this re-debut, but campaigning for his release from the WWE before they said, no, you cannot be released. We are going to simply use you, or maybe to some people, maybe bench you until your contract runs out. And this is a guy, probably the most among the entire crop that we feel has been destined, for greater success outside of the WWE than within. And this to him feels just like the shackles are off, and he's taken full advantage of the freedom he seems to have and the buzz. And I think the reputation he has among a lot of audiences who feel the same way, that this is a guy who is supposed to be incapable of achieving a whole lot more than what he was given, the space to.
Yeah, and it's not just the places he's going, but some of the opponents, like he's got Gringo Loco lined up. He's going to face Leon Slater for Progress. He's doing a 4-way for Dreamwave with Penta, Vikingo, and Gringo Loco. Him and Speedball Mike Bailey for Prestige in February. Trey Miguel for Warrior Wrestling. So, I mean, I just think he did a fantastic job of and I think a template for future days like this, where you can almost make that 91st day if you're a talent. And sadly, I'm sure we will have more examples of this, of really making it this big day to release your schedule. I'm sure the booking requests are still coming fast and furious for him. And so I thought he did a really great job. Others that we saw, MLW did confirm Matt Riddle for January the 6th at their Kings of Colosseum show. He's going to be facing Jacob Fatu, and they're already promoting him. He'll be on a Christmas Eve edition of MLW Fusion that they are airing. They're going to have a quick promo with him on there. And then as well, Top Dollar, AJ Francis showed up on Thursday night at the GCW holiday event, jumping Joey Janela after his match with Marcus Mathers. So it'll be AJ Francis and Joey Janela in January, Royal Rumble weekend in Tampa.
Yeah, good to see him, make a leap into some attention and some headlines as well. He's one that I guess is a bigger question, because I don't know if he'll be ending up in AEW anytime soon. Maybe just given a bit of a sort of public, spat he might have had about that company. But GCW is kind of like the place where a lot of people like an AJ Francis might go to completely rehab themselves and maybe gain some indie cred. So let's see what he does.
Super charismatic guy. And I mean, if this guy can utilize like his rap videos and stuff, like, I mean, I'm curious to see what he does. I mean, this was not the guy that was, wowing everybody with like his bell to bell in ring skills, but he has tremendous charisma and personality. And when Hit Row was first introduced, like I saw him as like a key part of the act. And we saw kind of how it floundered minus Swerve, and also on SmackDown as well, where it really didn't feel like they were putting the full court press behind Hit Row once Swerve was gone. They came back, and that was sort of it. It was like the comeback was the big peak of that run for Hit Row version 2.
And unlike the last time he was released, I mean, he doesn't have the rest of Hit Row with him as a part of an act. And I don't know if there's really that much even cachet in Hit Row these days, especially on the independent scene. So let's see if the guy can rebrand himself at all. But yeah, this is the time for those talents to really make some waves. Are you surprised that we haven't heard anything from Nick Namath, Dolph Ziggler?
Yeah, I mean, the day came and went. It certainly doesn't mean that he doesn't have stuff lined up, but I think we'll definitely know by, January if, you know, how what kind of a post WWE career is he looking at? Is he going to kind of sit back and wait for a big offer to come his way? Is he looking to sign a contract? Is he looking to pick and choose dates? I mean, at least, he didn't want to get out of the gate immediately and do the big splash that Mustafa Ali wanted to. But I mean, you also don't have to do it day one. This is also a time of the year. It's a really difficult time for doing these big announcements where there is a bit of a lull over these next couple of weeks going into January. And, I'm sure he has his idea in mind too. But again, we can't really get into his mind too of like what he's looking to do.
And TNA has a big signing to announce as well in the future.
It could be, I think, the biggest signing in TNA history, as Scott D'Amore told us.